I am about to address some things as the supervisor. There will be no comments, there will be anything, it'll just be me addressing you guys to tell you what's going on.
This administration is shameful. Y'all are a disgrace.
We're watching the fall of this administration.
Although Tiffany Henyard's political career has been quite the roller coaster, her most recent chapter is nothing short of astounding. The mayor of a small town becomes entangled in a web of corruption, lies, and scandal, and now her own boyfriend comes forward to reveal her darkest secrets. Yes, you read that correctly, Henyard's reliable accomplice. Will Hamilton be able to weather this political earthquake, or is this the end of her reign in Dolton? That is the big question. The person who was supposed to be in her corner has turned the tables and is now testifying against her in court. If that wasn't enough to stir things up, the FBI is on her case, looking into every move she's made.
Tonight involving a controversial politician in the south suburbs. Tiffany Henyard was the only Thornton Township leader to show up for a scheduled meeting.
Let's get into the drama that has rocked not only Dolton, but the political landscape surrounding her. Henyard's fall from grace didn't happen overnight. Instead, it was a gradual process that began with rumors about her dubious choices and an increasing number of accusations. However, things took a dramatic turn when her boyfriend entered the picture. Imagine the shock that the courtroom felt when he took the stand. The people there must have thought, wait a minute, this is the guy who knew her best and had stood by her side, and now he was revealing everything. The betrayal was real, and it hit hard. This was the moment when everything really started to fall apart.
Private investigator, I've got some book that says Premier. Inside I have from the United States District Court, Northern District of Illinois.
He didn't hold back either. His testimony was the kind that makes you wonder how someone in a position of authority could make such reckless decisions. Based on what he said, Henyard had been using public funds for her personal expenses. She claimed she used taxpayer funds to pay for opulent lifestyles. We're not talking about minor slip-ups here. Can you think that although Dolton is struggling financially with a deficit in the millions, its mayor was allegedly living the high life from the residents' time? Dinners, expensive shopping sprees, and even vacations that had nothing to do with her official duties as mayor.
Very appreciative to have received the information today. We have the best mayor ever. I've been here since 1993.
The shocking revelation that Henyard had been accepting bribes from nearby companies did not end there. Apparently, she had been entering into backdoor agreements with contractors and developers, providing them with preferential treatment in exchange for personal payments. Let's take a moment to reflect on how things have come to this point. Henyard wasn't always the mayor of, because this presents a rather unpleasant image of a politician who was meant to be working for the people, but instead appears to be working for herself. As the first woman to hold the office of mayor in Dolton, Dolton began her career as a trustee on the village board, establishing a reputation for being a person who was not afraid to take on difficult tasks. For a while, it looked as though she might actually turn things around for the better. But as history has repeatedly shown, politicians have the ability to bring out the worst in people. And for Henyard, that is exactly what happened.
Also new tonight, Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard is suing some village trustees over Monday's meeting.
Thus, the charges against her began gradually at first. There were rumors of poor management and disagreements with the village trustees, but as the months passed, the rumors became more serious. She made some extremely contentious references to prominent positions within the community, such as the chief of police and village attorney, without receiving the village board's approval, as required by law. A judge blocked these appointments, but Henyard didn't seem to care. Instead, she continued to push forward, attempting to consolidate more and more power, leaving people to wonder what her ultimate goal was in this situation.
Last month, the judge issued a temporary restraining order blocking her from making those appointments without approval from.
Furthermore, the village trustees have been fighting Henyard at every turn, filing lawsuits and obstructing her appointments. So it's not like they were just standing by and watching this happen. The Village Meetings Yard's attempt to host meetings in Village Hall is one of the most significant legal disputes they have been involved in. However, The trustees decide to move them to the Park District building because Village Hall isn't big enough to accommodate everyone who wants to attend. The tension at these meetings has been unbelievably high, and at times, Henyard has even been booed out of the room. It's like watching a soap opera in real life.
You're making a late appearance at the Dolton Village Board meeting this evening. That meeting was being held at the Park District building since Village Hall cannot legally accommodate the crowds at a typical.
Henyard had arrived late to a recent meeting, attempted to take the floor, and was ruthlessly reprimanded until she had to leave. Her attempt to run for office has been criticized by the trustees. Taking matters into her own hands and disregarding the regulations, she filed a complaint alleging the trustees are conducting unlawful meetings that are a total mayhem.
We took steps to correct those things that the Attorney General required. And so we believe that for that reason, the meeting was supposed to have been here.
With the FBI now involved, the situation has escalated to entirely new heights. When the FBI gets involved, you know things are serious. According to reports, they are investigating whether Henyard misappropriated federal funds, which would be a huge violation of federal law. Federal agents don't simply randomly dive into local politics for fun. Devastating blow to her career confirmed to be true. Not only is Henyard the target of inspection, but her whole inner circle as well. Suspicions have been raised about everyone in her immediate vicinity, including her personal ties and political allies.
Our security firm, we made sure they had wands, and we also told our board to come upstairs due to the fact they had several ways to exit out of.
It's important to note that Henyard has influence beyond her position as mayor of Dolton because she also serves as the supervisor of Thornton Township, a position she assumed following her election. The question that everyone wants to know right now is how deep the corruption may go. Is it just Henyard, or is this a part of a larger, more systemic issue? The financial issues that Henyard has caused are also not small potatoes, so let's examine what former Chicago. Mayor Lori Lightfoot's investigation revealed that Dolton had been using the Village credit card to make purchases at stores like Amazon, Target, and Walgreens. This may seem like a fairly innocent practice, but when you realize that she was spending tens of thousands of dollars on these transactions, you begin to see the bigger picture. She spent nearly $43,000 on Amazon in a single day. But what could she have required that would cost that much?
The administration can adhere to some financial limits. We're not looking to necessarily.
The Life investigation also revealed some rather dubious practices regarding overtime pay for specific employees, especially in the police department. One officer was allegedly paid over $100,000 in overtime, which exceeded their base salary. People began to ask, how is this possible in a village that is already over $3 million in debt? Because the money just doesn't add up, and the residents are very angry because they want to know how much of this financial mess is due to Hard's careless expenditure. Residents haven't been quiet about how they feel about this whole thing. If you look through the remarks on social media, people in Dolton are obviously tired of each other. One comment sums up the atmosphere nicely. It's only a matter of time. Karma is waiting for her. How does she sleep at night? Another commentator offered a more cynical assessment of the matter, stating that it's humorous that practically all politicians act in the same way as her. They were just unlucky enough not to be caught. It's a pessimistic viewpoint, but there's some truth in it. While political corruption is not a novel concept, the manner in which Henyard's demise is unfolding in the public eye is so chaotic that it is difficult to overlook.
That's clickbait, huh? All right. I guess anything else? I get sued all the time. Y'all.
However, how did Tiffany Henyard, the first female mayor of Dolton, go from being a bright leader to someone who is currently struggling to avoid going to jail to realize that we must delve into her past?
Meetings, one held at Village Hall, one held at a park district, and now there's a lawsuit, and I talked to the attorneys for both.
Carr's ascent to prominence was swift, but wasn't without controversy. Rumors circulated even before she was elected mayor, since she was well known for leveraging her position as a trustee to further her own goals and stifle her detractors. There were whispers that she was close to some dubious figures and that she would stop at nothing to advance in her career. Some even suggested that she had employed individuals to threaten her rivals, although such claims were never validated. It appeared as though she had put those suspicions behind her when she was elected mayor in 2021. With over 80% of the vote, she won handily and appeared ready to transform the city of Dolton. Perhaps it didn't take long for the old charges to surface again. Persons began to realize that Henyard was making some dubious choices, particularly with regard to the persons she was designating for important roles in the town.
Court. The judge today declining to hold her in contempt, but did warn her that if she did not follow the ruling,
choosing her close friend as her successor was one of her most contentious decisions. The issue there was that Freeman already had a village administrator named Ally Michael Shai who hadn't been fired. Despite the fact that the judge ultimately determined that Henyard lacked the authority to make the appointment, the damage had already been done. It was evident that Henyard was prepared to bend, if not break, the law in order to get her way. This brings us to the main point of the legal dispute, which began when Henyard attempted to force through Smith's appointment without the trustees' consent. It's a bold move, especially considering that she's the subject of numerous lawsuits and a federal investigation. But Henyard has announced that she's running for re-election despite the chaos surrounding her. She even went so far as to say that the people of Dolton will give her their overwhelming support and mandate. The hire appears to be persisting in her assertion that the accusations leveled against her are all part of a politically driven smear campaign, even going so far as to double down on them.
I want to thank my two trustees, Trustee Andrew Holmes and Trustee Stan Brown, for showing.
Henyard has presented the case as one in which she is up against an unscrupulous board of trustees in order to defend herself. She says the Tres are to blame for the financial mismanagement in Dolton and has accused them of attempting to undermine popular will. Her lawyer has concurred with these assertions, stating that Henyard is being. What do you think? Is Tiffany Henyard finished, or does she still have hope to turn things around? Let us know in the comment section below. Tiffany Henyard is being targeted because she is a powerful woman who is attempting to clean up the town. Whether or not people believe that is another story.